Curiosity on the part of a student is inexcusable in spiritual training, and must be completely eliminated from the consciousness before certain understanding, power, and experiences are permitted to be given him along the path to mastery. Unless it is completely consumed within the personality, it is a wide open door through which the sinister force can act at any moment and cut off the further progress of the advancing student. Whenever it was necessary, all that we needed to know was explained, without our asking. There is here much of vital importance ready to be brought forth for the use of humanity when it is the part of wisdom in the judgment of the ascended masters to give it out. Again, there will be another great cataclysm that will rend the surface of the earth, removing from further self-created destruction those human beings who have the ignorance and presumption to say there is no God. Those who are so bound by their self-created darkness that they destroy the very symbols on earth of what is good, true, uplifting, and enlightening, must, because of the very darkness of their own minds, be prevented from creating any further discord upon this planet, and from influencing others by their own mistaken concepts of life. Whatever and whoever denies God, the source of all life and light, can only exist as long as the energy which they have already received can sustain them, because the moment an individual, group, or nation denies the very source of life, that instant the inflowing stream of life energy is cut off, and it can only continue to function until the force which has already been accumulated becomes exhausted. The collapse and self-annihilation of these is inevitable. Denial of life and light cuts off the sustaining energy, while acknowledgement of life and light releases it and lets it flow through the body and mind that makes the acknowledgement. The great law governing all form, or the law of cause and effect, tolerates man's iniquity to man only so long. When that iniquity is directed to the Godhead or source of life, retribution is swift and certain. There is an automatic purifying and balancing process within all life, and when any outer activity opposes itself to the cosmic law of forward motion and ever-expanding perfection, which is always pressing from within outward, then the hour arrives when all opposition is swept aside and annihilated by the onward moving impulse within life itself. When those ruling a nation turn from God, destroying all that calls attention to the light of Christ, it means the end of that government and group is close at hand, because it causes a certain cosmic activity to be released upon the planet which sweeps them out of existence. The human intellect acquires many peculiar kinks in its thinking, and one of the most disastrous of these is the activity of human consciousness that refuses or forgets to love and thank life, the mighty I Am Presence, for the blessings life is constantly bestowing upon mankind and this earth. The average human being lives life after life without once loving or thanking his own mighty I Am Presence for the energy which flows ceaselessly through his mind and body, for the substance he uses in his body and world, or for the hundreds of good things by which he is constantly surrounded, which he uses and enjoys, and yet gives nothing of himself in return. Many people carry a feeling of personal grudge against life, blaming it for their suffering and failures, when even a very small amount of gratitude and love poured out to the I Am Presence within each human heart would transmute every discord into peace and love, releasing the perfection of life into the outer activity of the individual. Human beings find plenty of time to love dogs and cats, food, clothes, money, diamonds, people, and 1,001 things. But it is very rarely that an individual takes even 5 minutes out of a lifetime to love his own divinity. Yet he is using every second its life and energy by which to enjoy those things. Even those who think they love God give almost no acknowledgement to the mighty I Am Presence within themselves, and no gratitude goes up to it for the good things that come to them in life. It is not that we should not pour out love to things in the outer activity, but we should certainly love the divinity within first and more than any outer thing or personality. It is this very life and consciousness by which we exist. Happiness cannot exist except when love is pouring out. This is life's law. When people are loving something or somebody, they are happy. Even a miser is happy when he is loving his gold, because he is pouring out a feeling of love to the thing he tries to hold. What he is really trying to hold is happiness. But he does not realize that the feeling of happiness is not contained in the gold, but is in the pouring out of love from himself. In that outpouring, he lets life flow uninterruptedly and harmoniously. However, having received all good we ever used from the mighty I Am Presence which builds each physical body, the first and greatest outpouring of our love belongs always to our own individualized flame of God, the mighty consciousness of life within us, which enables us to acknowledge our own existence and source of all life when we say, I am. In those words is all of God, and nothing in human experience is really important, but all of God. When the individual accepts, acknowledges, and feels all of God, he is happy. He has all good, and then he lives in the Father's mansion. Is it possible for anything to be more important or greater than all of God? Only with the understanding and feeling of this can mankind break the chains of self-created limitations.